Alright, what should I be playing today? I can't figure out what I want to play. That deck's not ready.
Play Burn.
Who said that?
I did.
Holy hell!
No, this is Phyrexia.
Wait, Illinois' Phyrexia? Well, that explains a lot.
Silence! I grant you the power of Urabrask. Now go forth and burn your enemies in his name.
I appreciate the power-up, but Urabrask? He's kind of weak. Can I get a different Predator's Blessing?
No! Take it or leave it!
Okay, I'll take it. This is Toasted Marshmallows, my Solphim Mayhem Dominus deck, which, if you don't know what he does since he's brand new, for 2 red, you get a 5/4 Phyrexian Horror that says if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent they control, it deals double that damage instead. And for 1 and 2 red Phyrexian mana and 2 cards out of your hand, you can make this indestructible. So, the thing with Solphim is you're trying to burn. You're trying to do non-combat damage, burn spells, damage triggers, activations, you name it. There's all kinds of stuff that can deal damage here, and that's what I've done here. So let's take a look at the deck. Now, being in mono red, there's actually not a lot of protection available to the color as a monocolor deck, so you're kind of relegated to either ignoring it, which is what we've done here, or you have to rely on things like Swiftfoot boots and things of that nature. So let's take a look. First off, I have my mana fixing, mana acceleration, whatever you want to call it. So we have Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Mind Stone, the usual 3 I put in almost every deck. We have Ornithopter of Paradise here. It's a colorless mana dork for the deck. And it just works out sometimes to get us ahead. Heraldic Banner, name red. It gets our red creatures a little bit bigger and it accelerates our mana a little bit more. And then Solemn Simulacrum, go get a mountain out of the deck, and if it dies, you draw a card. Pretty straightforward. The next column is our card draw / impulse draw. These are things that are going to get us extra cards or sift through our deck a little bit better, or, impulse things off the top of our deck. Because unfortunately, mono red doesn't have actual draw. There's not a thing that says do this, draw a card. It's usually you have to discard a card, then draw a card. So you're not really gaining any card advantage. You're gaining card selection. And on top of that, it has the impulse draws as well, where it exiles it and you have to use it. So we're trying to use a balance of both of them, because sometimes you just need that little extra push or you're going to run out of gas and not be able to finish the opponent off. So let's take a look. We have Faithless Eluding. Discard 2, draw 2. Just a good way to sift it into the deck, and you can flash it back. Reckless Impulse. Exile the top 2, and then you have until your next turn to use one of those cards. Actually, it's both. This is a little different than some of them. You use both cards or you lose them into exile. Flame of Keld. Now, this says, you look at it and go, well, this says discard your hand. It's the second part we care about. It's the draw 2 off of it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to just dump your hand and just fill the board with creatures and deck your opponent with just burn after burn after burn. And then you're going to run out of cards, or you're going to be like, you're going to have a chaff card in your hand that doesn't do you any good right at that moment. Let it go to the Flame of Keld, and then you draw the 2 cards, and then you get the third chapter, which is also going to add extra damage for a turn, and you might just burn your opponent out because of that. So a possibility, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Again, it's card selection, because you're losing 2 cards to gain 2 cards. You're losing the thrill, and you're losing the discard as part of the casting cost to get 2 new cards. Howling Mine is here. This one's kind of iffy, because it does give your opponent's cards, but it does give you extra cards to draw each turn. We also have Ambergris, Citadel Agent. When she attacks, you can discard your hand and draw 2 cards. So again, just like with the Flame of Keld, your hand's so low, you might as well let stuff go and get some new cards and try to, accelerate your game plan. Light up the stage, impulse draw, you hit them, you spectral cost it for 1, and you get a couple of cards until the end of your next turn, just like the Reckless Impulse from earlier. We also have Big Score. Discard a card, draw 2, just like the other ones, but you also get a treasure out of this one. Chandra Fire Artist. Now, this is a kind of a pulling a double duty thing. She can +1 to give you an impulse draw until the end of the turn, but she also has the ability on here of whenever the loyalty counters are removed, she can deal damage to your opponent. So if they hit her, they take damage. If you get to the -7, they'll get hit for 7 damage. Well, with Solphim, it's 14 damage for her ultimate. And if they hit her, every time they hit her and that amount of loyalty comes off, they take double the amount of damage off of it. So this is actually really fun to use in this deck. Unexpected Windfall, just like the big score. Ox of Agonis, again, your hand's going to be low anyways. Ditch your hand, draw 3, and you can escape it because we're churning through so many cards into our graveyard. Oftentimes, you're going to have the ability to just exile a bunch of crap and bring this back and do it all over again. And then we have Urbrask, Heretic Praetor. He gives you an impulse draw at the beginning of your turn, and it messes with your opponent's draws as well. So it's just a kind of a fun include here. And then here's the start of our burn. This category is all burn spells that only hit creatures in one way or the other. So we have Abrade, 3 damage to a creature, but it also destroys artifacts, so the modality sometimes comes in handy. Molten Impact deals 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and then the excess can be actually carried over into your next spell that you cast. Searing Blood, 2 damage, and if it dies, it deals 3 to the opponent, so it's always fun to blow up like a 1/1, and then they take 6 off of Solphim being around. You have Flame Spill, 4 damage to target creature, excess spills over to the controller. So, you have a 1 power or 1 toughness creature, 1 to it and 3 to you, and then Solphim goes 2 to it and 6 to you. I mean, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. Brotherhood's End, I can't ever say this right. 3 damage to each planeswalker and creature, or destroy all artifacts 3 or less. So you have some modality here. The thing with Brotherhood's End is that the 3 damage is asymmetrical if you have Solphim around. And what do I mean by that? I mean, your damage is going to be the 3 to all your stuff. Their stuff's going to take 6. So you can start tearing through their stuff for 3 mana, no problem, as long as Solphim's around. You also have Conductive Current, does a similar job here, but then it also gives a perpetual ability to one of the instants and sorceries in your hand to deal an additional 2 damage, which also gets increased by Solphim, so it scales up. Burn Down the House, 5 damage to everything, or make devils. Now, the fun part about this is if Solphim is made indestructible off of its ability, he'll just survive the Burn Down the House. And, you might lose most of your stuff, but your opponent's creatures are going to take 10. Solphim lives, and then you have a free and clear swing, basically, against anything that's not indestructible. And then we have Immolating Gyre. We have so many instants and sorceries in this deck anyways, that this makes a good board sweep, especially with Solphim around, because you don't have to have more than maybe 2 or 3 in the yard for this to just start nuking their side of the board, because it only hits their side of the board. And the more stuff that you have in your graveyard, the worse this gets for them. I've torn down 7, 8, 9 power creatures with Immolating Gyre, and then just made them just roll over. And now we have what I call the To the Face pile, I guess you could call it. This can hit creatures too. But all of this is damage that can actually just blast our opponent in the face. We have Kumano Faces Kakazan, deals a damage, and then it buffs a creature later if you have one, or it gives you a creature. The big thing here is the 1 damage, though. Turns into 2 with Solphim. Lightning Bolt, 6 damage off of Solphim. Play with Fire, 4 damage to the face. Shock, same thing. Electrostatic Blast, same thing, but this one also gives you an exile when you play your next spell. Lightning Strike, 6 damage to the face with Solphim. Royal Eruption, same thing. You get the theme here. Flames of the Firebrand. You can divide this up. You can actually tear down a bunch of stuff and just dome them for 6, whatever you need to do. Risk Factor. This one is so freaking hilarious in this deck, because nobody ever freaking lets you have the cards unless they're almost dead and they can't take the damage. They almost always take the 4 damage. Well, if Solphim's around, it's 8 damage for 3 mana. And I've actually burned people out because they were just like, no, I'm not giving you the cards. And it's like, okay, die. So, Skewer the Critics, 3 damage, turns into 6. Fiery Temper, same thing. The fun part about Fiery Temper, though, is if you use it as the discard, part of the discard to make Solphim indestructible and you madness it, you get it for 1 mana. Magic Missile, this is another one that can be divided like Flames of the Firebrand. You can deal 3 damage, it can't be countered, and you can sit there and split the damage up and blast your opponent in different ways. And then Uthgard Fury, this is one of the Baldur's Gate Alchemy cards. I opened one of them in a pack, and I was like, oh, I'll throw it in. So when it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to any target, including their face. And then the damage isn't removed from the creatures. So even if they have indestructible creatures around, well, not indestructible creatures, but like big creatures like 7/7s and stuff, you can start stacking the damage up and just be like, okay, 4 to that, and then I'll bolt it, and it ends up killing it even if you draw the bolt, a turn or two later. And then this is the pile of stuff that is permanents that deal damage in one way or the other. So let's take a look. We have Cemetery Gatekeeper. You exile something from a graveyard, and whenever the opponent it's any player actually, casts a spell that was shared by the type that was exiled, or a land, that happens too, they get shot for 2. Well, Solphim, it's 4. I had a game where I exiled somebody's land, and they had to kill this because they couldn't play lands without taking 4 damage every time they played a land. Electrostatic Field, doubled up, 2. You get a shock for every instant and sorcery you play. Same thing with Firebrand Archer, but this actually does it off of our artifacts and enchantments too. Kessig Flame Breather, same thing. Smoldering Egg, this thing will get bigger, and eventually if it flips over into the Ashmouth Dragon, every Ashmouth trigger is going to be doubled to 4. Then we also have Thermo Alchemist, deals 2 on a tap. Trigger Effect, deals 2, deals 4 with Solphim. Eidolon of the Great Revel, deals 2 to them if they play a 3 or less. Does it to us too, but it's asymmetrical. With Solphim, they'll take 4 instead of 2. Bellows Breath Ogre, if this thing survives in combat and the intensity levels start getting up there, they're going to hurt a lot, because this thing's going to start going up in intensity, and every time it's just going to keep doubling up the damage. So it goes from 2 to 4 to 6, and it just keeps going up. You get the point there. Gutter Snipe, 2 damage, turns to 4. Roast Master, every time something comes into play, deals 1 without him, but you get a shock worth if everything else past that. Chaos Bailer. Now this one is in here because simply of one of its modes. You have to pick 2 of the 3 modes. The modes you're going to want to pick are deal 2 damage to target player and create 2 treasures for you, and you're going to want to deal 2 damage to each creature a target player controls, and they perpetually get +2/+0. Well, the thing there is, most of the time you're going to swing into, you're going to wipe out most of their board because it's going to deal 4 damage. Who cares if they get perpetual +2/+0? They're dead. And then Combustible Gearhulk. This is one of those cards that most of the time people don't want to let you have the cards, but that is woe to them if Solphim's around, because yeah, you might hit some 3 and 4 drop stuff, but when that stuff is doubled, this can really hurt. And then we have our column of support cards, basically, that help push the burn agenda. We have Bloodthirsty Adversary, flashbacking burn spells. Chandra Spitfire gets bigger with non-combat damage. So if we fling a couple burn spells, this thing all of a sudden gets +6/+0, and that can really take a chunk out of their life total. Mechanized Warfare, if a red or artifact source deals damage, it gets that +1. So it's going to actually hit them for an additional damage as we go along. Maniform Hellkite, again, non-creature spells make it create a little illusion token to attack with. So that's bonus damage there. And then on top of that, we're flinging burn. So we're going to get multiple things going on. And then we have Toralf, God of Fury. This is a kind of a neat one. Trample 5/4 legendary god that says when a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, burn. Toralf will deal that much damage equal to the excess to any other target than that permanent. So if you have Toralf out and you sweep the board with like a Brotherhood's End dealing, and you have Solphim rounds, that's 6 damage going to all their creatures and 3 damage going to all your stuff. Well, he'll survive it, and then anything past the 6 damage that's being dealt lethally to those creatures can then be redirected to your opponent's face, and that damage would then also be doubled on top of that. And then we also have Torbrand, because why not? We're playing Red Burn, let's make it stronger. Invoke Calamity. We're churning through so much little burn stuff here that we have the opportunity to just flash it back out of our graveyard and throw it back at them again, or just, double up to get some stuff out of your hand as well. And then we have Finale of Promise. You can actually go with an instant and a sorcery from your graveyard with X or less and flash it back. And if you pay 10 or more, which is not going to happen very often, you make multiple copies of them instead. So it's just another way to get a bloodthirsty adversary effect, to get a couple of burn spells out of your graveyard to flash back and try to finish your opponent off. And then the man base is very simple, very cheap effectively compared to a lot of them. We have Den of the Bugbear because it's red, Forgotten Cave, Cycling, 33 Mountains, that's pretty good. A Sokenzan for extra damage push if we want. Fabled Passions to go pull one of those mountains out. Nykthos because we are playing mono red, so it helps to do like all the little permanents. And then Plaza of Heroes to help save Solphim in case we don't have cards in hand, or they try to do something to it that like a exile effect or something like that Solphim can't survive even when he's indestructible. This will help save us for a turn. With that said, I hope you like the deck. I'll see you in the gameplay after. Mondrak, okay. May or may not have any life gain. I mean, I would think they'd have to. Unfortunately, this hand has nothing going for it until like turn 4, which is just awful. But I do have lands, so we'll keep this up. We don't need to burn the lightning bolt right away. Let's go with... do that. I don't have anything. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this anyways. We might draw something that's worthwhile. And if not, we're going with the Heraldic Banner next turn. So either way. Yeah, we didn't get anything. That's fine. We'll go with the banner. Red. And we'll pass. I'm not gonna use the bolt right now because with Solphim that bolt is worth 6 damage. Now the bad part is we do have to watch out because this is mono white. I am sure they're playing exile of some sort. And Solphim is very, very what's the word I want to use? Weak to exile effects. So alright, we got a Dune Mover, so they're probably doing a poison sub-theme. Alright. Let's do I just do Magic Missile? Or do I do Mondrak and then... or Mondrak. Solphim, I'm playing against Mondrak. Screw it. Let's go ahead and attack. If they want to block, I'll take it. It saves the burn for their face. Now, does this affect abilities? No, just spells. Alright, we're going to play Solphim. We have the extra mana we need to activate it, and we have things we can discard for it. So I'm not that concerned about a destruction spell. Oh! Oh, that's a problem. Alright, we are going to just need to go absolutely nuts here. Because that conductive current is useless with that Vindicator sitting there. Nope. I don't even care. Like, I left Solphim vulnerable, but I have to dump it. All the burn I can into their face. That Vindicator is just gonna Shrek us so hard. Like, it nullifies everything. Alright. Archer. Roastmaster. Not attacking right now. I need burn is what I need. And I need it bad. Solphim can block one of those. I'll take the other hits. Oh, that's not good. That's really bad. Crap. I shot my shot and now I'm struggling. And they're gaining life. That's just great. It's like, it's mono white. Oh, they may not have white or life gain. Yeah, right. Alright, we're gonna stick Solphim in front of the war leader, and I'm gonna pop the Plaza of Heroes. We need to stop that garbage. Terrible. Like they got blockers for days, and I have to stick things in front of their stuff this turn. Even then, I think I'm... Oh, yeah, we're dead. Nope, we're dead. Adios! Syr Konrad the Grim. Hey, at least it's not a white-based deck with life linkers. I mean, they'll have life gain, but it's not that. I'll take it. Because I'm almost at wit's end with like all the shitty matchmaking just going, here, you're gonna get life linkers and life gain decks whether you like it or not. Let's go ahead and do Unexpected Windfall. We'll ditch the Thrill. Yeah, we'll sit on that. We don't need that until they have something we can exile, or I can put something in that I can exile. Mesmeric Orb. Okay. That's gonna hurt, especially once Syr Konrad gets going. Now, luckily, we're a little lighter on creatures than what I normally run in a deck. But, youch. Okay. Well, we do have a land that we can nuke out of their yard with that. That's actually kind of funny. If I play Solphim, I have plenty of mana to work with. Let's go ahead and play Solphim right now, and we have the mana to keep it, to make it indestructible. So, I'm not that concerned. But yeah, I think my next play is going to be the Cemetery Gatekeeper, unless there's something really nasty coming my way, to get a land. Now, if they have an exile or something like that, I'm screwed. So, Baleful Mastery or Eat to Extinction or anything like that is just game over. Resolve all of it. Just don't hit my Invoke Calamity so I can flash some of this crap back. Well, there's an Utgard Fury. Let's stick with the plan we had in place. Let's go Cemetery Gatekeeper. We're gonna hit a land out of their graveyard because they're low on lands, so they're gonna take a bunch of damage for that. Let's also do... Let's do Gutter Snipe. And we'll do... What do they got in their yard? Anything good? Defiler of Flesh is decent. Let's go ahead and Molten Impact the Headless Rider so they don't get a bunch of zombies off of it. And I still have a mana open to make Solphim indestructible with the Phyrexian mana payment. And we'll just go ahead and attack. It's just a 2/2. And a 1/2. Gang blocking is not going to kill it. I'm not that concerned. Now, maybe I should have swung first and then blasted the Headless Rider so they lost the target, but, yeah, whatever. Oh, they're going for that. Oh, they're probably going to go after my Cemetery Gatekeeper. I see what they're probably going to do. Sound. Because they're going to take 4 damage for every land they play. Nykthos makes them no black mana right now because everything's dead. Uh-oh. Well, that sucks. But, you know, whatever. Does not kill Solphim. We are losing all kinds of good stuff, though. There's Chaos Bailey. There's... Oh, God. Come on. Alright, there's Searing Blood. That's D. So let's hit him for 5. I'm just going to go ahead and Utgard Fury him for 8. And in the turn, we have mana available to keep him indestructible. I have a Searing Blood, which if I hit something small enough, I can... Well, small enough, which is 4 with the Solphim around. Okay, we got that understaffed. Oh, perfect. And we're just gonna fry the Paladin. I should have waited so I could kill the other thing too, but that's okay. We are fine. Give me a burn spell. Give me a burn spell. Come on. It's a sort of burn spell. If I make him indestructible... I'm trying to think... I can't... Because that doesn't do me much good right now. Let's do Kessig Flame Breather. Bring Down the House is probably not the best play in the world right now. Let's go ahead and just swing Solphim out. I'm not as concerned there. Yeah. Because I'm not gaining life off of that. Let's end the turn. I got the Mind Stone available. So I could, in theory, pop that and discard 2 cards to make Solphim indestructible if I need to, or I can just cast Burn Down the House next turn for a bunch of devils and do a bunch of extra damage. We'll figure it out. Well, they pop up treasure, probably because they don't want to mill something. I'm not sure. Are they going to launch the Silex? Destroy. Okay. And that's fine. We can still do this. Okay, hold on. We're going to activate this. Because the stuff's going to go away anyways. And then we're going to activate Solphim. And we're just going to... We have the mana to pay it. We're not going to pay the life. And we'll just dunk those. Solphim lives. Oh, hey, and that's lethal. Finally! Go away. That milling was driving me nuts. There were so many good cards just getting milled away. It's like... Ah! Pylath World Sculptor. Alright. I'm just happy not to see a white deck. That makes me happier than you know. Alright. What is this? Mono red playing Mana Dorks? I don't use Ornithopter Paradise very often, but this is one of those decks that it needs a little something. Let's do... Let's go ahead and do... I don't want to do Solphim because it leaves it up for getting hit by something. So all I need to do is put it down and they have like a Obliterating Bolt or something, and then I'm set back to 6 mana, and it's eh. Alright. So we got that. Let's go ahead and play Solphim. Because theoretically, next turn we could play the Combustible Gear Hulk. Okay, they have a Harrow. That's okay. Or Harrow, however you want to pronounce that. Alright, we'll pass turn. We have the mana plus the Phyrexian life payment for Solphim, and we have the cards in hand. Gotta be joking me right now. Do I make this? No, I don't make it indestructible because I want it to die in combat. Plus, I think it well, no, because it's a counter. It wouldn't lose the indestructible because it's a counter that gets put on it. So that's actually not the worst thing in the world. Let's go ahead and do Eidolon of the Great Revel. And we'll go ahead and swing. I mean, I'm not that concerned. And we'll end the turn. And I'd probably just channel the Sokinzon next turn. This is one of those points where it's like, okay, Solphim is neutered. I want a board sweep because I really don't care. Alright. So now I can't really swing. So Sokinzon is not a great idea. We don't have any instance of sorceries in our graveyard to use the Immolating Gyre. Alright, so let's just do the Combustible Gearhulk. It gives us something big enough to just block anything they throw at us, really, other than Errata, juiced up. There's the burn down the house I wanted. Alright, no attacks, because Solphim can just eat that. We also have a Chaos Baler. Yeah, the transformation cards are also a big issue with these Dominus cards. So it's like exile cards and things that transform them into things like the Witness Protection, the Kenrith's Transformation, Frogify, like all those cards, like I got excited about the Dominuses, and then now I'm like playing with them, and it's like, oh, these are actually not that good by comparison. At least not this one. Okay, I'm fine with that because I can just annihilate this board next turn. Yeah, we're just gonna blow up the freaking world. Let's tap that for a red. Burn down the house, do 5 to everything. The Gearhulk will survive. Take action. I'm just going to send the Gearhulk right at him. Alright, and we're going to end the turn. I'm going to leave Bloodthirsty Adversary in hand in case I actually get some burn so I can flash it back. I should just do the Immolating Gyre right now. Do it for 1, and then Pylath probably has to block. Yeah, screw it. There too. And if I had a way to kick that, it would have been better. Because I could have done lethal. But right now I have no burn spells. They have to play another blocker or they are just going to die. Okay, there's a Shia. And that's fine. Oh, they're dead. They done messed up. We're just gonna play Solphim, and here's Kumano. Again. Boom! Even without Solphim, the Kumano would have killed them because of the mechanized warfare. Yawgmoth, Thran, Physician. Alright, we'll give this a try, even though we can really jack Solphim up. But we have enough burn that we can kill him, so... we'll pass. Just wait and see what we see. Yeah, don't care about him. in of so much anyways. Let's go ahead and Pyromancer. No need to kill the Hoarder and give them a treasure so they can play Yawgmoth right away, because it's got 4 life, so I'd have to double burn it. Alright, so yeah, they were counting on that treasure at some point. Alright, Electrostatic Blast. Whatever. Any target. We're gonna do this so I can see if I can get a land. Wait, what? No attacks. When you cast your next instant or sorcery. Okay, I thought it did it right away. Never mind. I'm dumb. Does not do a non-token, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay. So cancel. Let's bolt this Morbid Opportunist. I'm not dealing with that. Oh, 3 lands. Go figure. Play a land. You can kiss my butt, buddy. Don't be a Yorgo jerk. Yeah, just go ahead and Royal Eruption him too while we're at it. Gives my Immolating Gyre some more power if we ever get to the mana thresholds we need. And they now have the treasure they needed to play Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth needs nothing but a life payment. Let's see here. Let's go with the Bellows Breath Ogre. A little harder for them to get rid of. And we'll just keep the Pyromancer back. If they're gonna kill my stuff, I'm gonna make them have to sacrifice everything to do it. No blocks, because it just makes it easier for them to do their thing. Yeah, you can do that. But again, you're gonna have to get creative. And paying life against my deck is not the greatest idea in the world. Okay. Hey, it's land. We are still not there on the Immolating Gyre. I don't know if I want to put Solphim out just to get decimated, but let's go ahead and drop the Manaform Hellkite. This represents a threat that if they don't outright kill it, I can just start flinging spells into it, and that creates a bunch of extra damage that's not available to me any other way. Like, I'm not blocking this because I don't want to have to make it easier for Yawgmoth to try and kill the Hellkite. It's like they need other creatures if they want to try to kill it, and they need a lot of them. They need at least 2, because even the proliferates are not going to be enough. Okay, so they got a March of Wretched Sorrow. Congratulations. Alright. See, that's what makes this so hard with Solphim. We're going to go ahead and play him. Like, I'm going to pass a turn. We have the mana available. Yes, they can put the negative counters, but if they spend their entire time screwing around with negative counters and doing all this other crap, then that's stuff they're not doing to me. Okay. Try again. Have a shock. I should have shocked him in response to sacrificing the cultist, but that's okay. Sorry, I ain't got nothing you can make me discard. Nah. Alright, let's just drop Sokinzon to the ground. Let's do... It's like, I'm almost tempted to activate Solphim so I can do the Fiery Temper for 1, but that makes no sense. I should just fry the Nightmare Shepherd. That doesn't work either. You know what? Screw it. Let's risk factor right now. They can either take 8 to the dome. Yeah. We'll discard the Gyre. I'm okay with that. I got a Fiery Temper in hand. You take this damage, you're a 1. Okay. I have a burn spell, so unless you had a way to gain back a ton of life all of a sudden, you're kind of screwed. Glad I didn't sit on that Gyre, because it'd be useless. Yeah, that's an Iara. Yeah, you can just fry now. This is what you get for saying your go. Don't be that guy. Minsc and Boo. Okay. This is probably going to be ugly. Not going to lie. Though having some burn in hand might actually soften it because we can kill Minsc and Boo with burn spells as we go along. So, if I play this deck enough, that I broke down and spent a wild card on a Lightning Bolt because I never opened one during Strixhaven, just specifically for my red decks because I was like, oh, I don't need Lightning Bolt, but then it's like, oh, it's 6 damage in this deck. I do need it. So next turn is probably going to be risk factor unless I draw a rock or some other better thing. A Gutter Snipe would make me probably play it instead. What is our opponent doing besides contemplating life, though? I don't know. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I'm having some fun playing this, but it's only fun if I'm not going against life gain. If I'm going against life gain, it's just so frustrating to play. It's difficult, and I don't understand. Like, the matchmaker of this game is something else. And it just makes me want to scream. Because it's like, I've never come up against so much white life gain before. Like, just one deck after another. And I guarantee you it's because the system's like, oh, they're playing mono red burn. This is the counteract. And it's bullshit, is what it is. Alright, Tireless Tracker, you're fine. Let's just go ahead and risk factor. We're gonna dump damage down their throat. Because early game, almost nobody lets you draw the cards. They always take the damage. Let's just go ahead and put Solphim down. I'm not that concerned. Because we have so much burn in hand, it's ridiculous. Like, realistically, we could kill them next turn with the amount of burn we have. It just depends on how greedy they get with that risk factor, because I'm gonna flash it back. Oh, that's perfect. All right. So let's do risk factor. We'll discard the burn down the house. So they're going to take 2 off of this. Risk factor will do 8 if they don't let me have the cards. They're dead. You, against this deck, you don't do that. Because that's, right there is 8 damage. Just kaboom. And I have Bolt. I mean, it's just this is like the most perfect hand ever. I mean, they didn't interact with anything, and I was just able to just jump, burn, and kill them. So what did you guys think? I enjoy the deck, but it was very, very frustrating because I felt like I was playing a mini game against the matchmaking software that's built into Arena. Because as soon as I started playing the deck, I got multiple life gain decks in a row, one after the other, and it was just a parade of frustration. Because, let's face it, mono red struggles. If even a burst of like 5 life can mean the difference between winning and losing a game, and you just can't, sometimes you just can't burn your way through that. So my recommendation here, and I started doing it here towards the end of me recording games, is if you see a deck that's, you know it's a dedicated life gain deck, or like it's led by something like a Traxa Grand Unifier, forget it. Just scoop up, move on to the next game. You'll save yourself a ton of frustration, and you'll have more fun playing the deck. With that said, I don't know what I would really change about this particular build, other than not playing it as mono red and trying to use Solphim in a deck with another color like blue or maybe white or something that can help protect him and also allow us to kind of churn and burn our way through without struggling. Again, I don't know what to do with it, but I'm all ears. If you guys have any ideas what we should do with this deck, let me know in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next video.